Good evening, gentlemen. I'm here with Tom Brubaker, and he's a member at Willow Creek Church, and he recently wrote a book, 26-2, Occasional Marathoner, Everyday Christian. All right, so Tom, how long have you been at Willow Creek?
So we've been attending for about 3 years, and we've been members for roughly 2 years now.
Okay. And how long have you been a Christian?
I've been a Christian pretty much my whole life. Grew up in a Presbyterian/Methodist environment. Consider myself to have been a Christian since confirmation, which was about 13 years old or so.
So the book, 26-2, Occasional Marathoner, Everyday Christian, why'd you write the book?
There's a story there behind that. My daughter, who back in December of 2023, had decided to run her first marathon. She knew I had run 9 and was looking to do number 10. I trained, I did everything you're supposed to do, but a few miles into the marathon I realized this isn't working, I'm not going to make it. And so to occupy my brain a little bit, I started thinking of, okay, somehow I started reflecting on the fact that Carol and I had been coming to Willow Creek, and we were kind of those background, I don't want to say background Christians, that's not exactly the right term, but we kind of minded our own business. I mean, even to this day, I'd be lucky if I could name a dozen people that go to church here with us, to be honest about it. We sat in our section of the church, kind of out of everyone's way. We participated in worship, we did everything that was there, but we were effectively kind of what I'm considering calling the book kind of middle of the pack Christians. And so I started laying out a parallel between, okay, I'm not going to win this marathon. I'm not even going to place in my age group. So why in the world do I run it? And I said, okay, let me come up with 26 reasons why people run a marathon and liken them to 26 reasons why people choose to live as a Christian.
So on page 43 in the book, you call yourself somewhat of a lifelong procrastinator. And, running a marathon is all about not procrastinating. So why decide to run a marathon, which requires zero procrastination, no error there, when you think that you procrastinated your whole life?
In the case of this 10th marathon in particular, it was, my daughter goading me or asking me to run it with her. For past marathons, I explained in the book, there's reasons for personal satisfaction. Anyone can sign up for a marathon. You write a check, you put your name in, and you're signed up for a marathon. Whoop-de-doo. Mm-hmm. But that's where the real work begins. Likewise, as being a Christian, you can say I go to church. That doesn't make you a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a lot of work. And that's part of what I wanted to do with this book, is to outreach to people that may be kind of on that fence. When you've signed on that dotted line and you've made the commitment that you're going to run that race, you get a lot of work ahead of you, and it can be daunting. And likewise, as a Christian, accepting Christ is actually kind of easy, but living as a Christian, living out those beliefs, takes a lot of work, and you've got to do the work. So.
On page 154, this is a little bit of a deeper question, but I see how the secular world treats Christians, so I chose to keep my faith private. I think a lot of Christians behave this way as well. Why do you think you wrote that, and why do you think you stay a little bit more private? Do you have any insight into that?
I have a personal rule that I never talk politics and religion at work. I mean, work is work, and I make the distinction. But like you say, you can't get away from it. I mean, people who don't care, or I can't say definitively, but are likely not Christians, have absolutely no problem, whether it's on social media or in the workplace or in public in general, just lambasting Christians. And I always feel that I'm not prepared to confront that. I don't have Bible verses memorized the way some people can just go in and pull out a Bible verse to offer a counter argument to what people are saying. I've got to tell you, putting this book out, it was something I didn't want to do. I mean, I was fighting a tooth and nail, but quite frankly, it's something I had to do. The intention of this book is to reach out to people with a fairly broad brush and explain, hey, it's okay. You can live as an everyday Christian and let your actions, if not necessarily your words, reflect what it is, living out the commandments that Christ gave us. And that's something a lot of guys just have trouble overcoming that hurdle, to say, hey, I'm a Christian, and that's okay,
Yeah.
So.
All right, last question. On page 18, you're comparing the differences in people you can observe on Sunday morning in church. And I quote, "Men who wear coats and tie every Sunday, and those who wear Hawaiian shirts and jeans." Is this a direct attack on Mike Haas, or are you meaning something else?
I wouldn't know Mike Haas if he came up and bit me. But no, we sit at the back, and we sit about three rows up from the back, and we see, the entire spread of the church as a result of that. And and there's some wonderful people in this church. There's a father and son who wear identical shirts practically every week. We love seeing that. A lot of young families in this church. There's people that raise their hands during worship. You know what? The church we're in is a wonderful church, and that again is the comparison with the marathon. You see every shape, color, and whatever in running a marathon. You know what? They're running it for their own reasons. Yeah. They're getting out of it what they want to get out of it, and hopefully, as with the marathon, that the people have put in the time and are doing it for all the right reasons.
Yeah, I just saw there was a new world record for running a marathon in Crocs just set. There's a world record for running a marathon in a Santa costume. There's a world record for running it in, I think you can't run it in a banana costume and get a world record. So there's definitely all shapes, sizes, and clothing in a marathon. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Tom, for stopping by and talking about your book and giving us a little bit about your story and introducing yourself to the men of the church. And if you guys are interested, 26.2 occasional marathoner, everyday Christian.